DXXX Zamboanga, DXDX General Santos.
RPN Radio Philippines Network. DXKD Dipolo Radio Ronda. Member, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
This is Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Tonight on the program, as relief goods and cash aid come in trickles for thousands of typhoon victims, a ravaged community near the popular tourist destination, the underground river in Palawan, is appealing for immediate help. In the countdown to 2022, some Filipinos trooped to the so-called fireworks capital in Bulacan, while others to supermarkets for their medianoche products. And the controversial Dolomite Beach reopens just in time for the New Year revelries. Beyond grappling with hundreds of lives lost, people in areas that took a hit from Typhoon Odette suffer billions of pesos in damage to their livelihood that was wiped out in a single sweep. In Palawan, the estimated overall damage has reached 7.8 billion pesos. A number of tourist attractions in the province have been affected, including a community living near the world-famous underground river. Tristan Odalo joins us live from the capital, Puerto Princesa. Go ahead, Tristan.
Pia, destructive winds, storm surge that lasted for 8 hours. That's how powerful Typhoon Odette was when it hit the area. The area used to be a jump-off point for tourists who want to travel or explore Palawan's underground river. Now, residents there are facing two grim realities: the COVID-19 pandemic and Typhoon Odette's aftermath. What used to be a paradise and haven for tourists wanting to experience Palawan's underground river has been wiped out. Typhoon Odette battered Purok Dalampasigan in Sitio Sabang, whose residents depend on fishing and tourism for livelihood. Fisherman Roderick Luzara says they did their best to save their boats but to no avail. Out of 87 tourist boats used to service the underground river, only 20 were recovered.
Yung alon talaga, hindi namin talaga makalimot-limot. Hanggang ngayon, yung ibang mangingisda, halos ayaw pang kuhan sila dahil doon sa nangyari.
Some boats are no longer fit to be used, with some fishermen salvaging what's left of them and convert them to firewood.
Wala naman kaming hanap buhay na eh. Simula nung COVID, ang inabot ng audit, kung sa COVID medyo nakabangon-bangon na kami. Umabot itong COVID na ito na. Parang hindi namin alam kung saan kami mag-uumpisa ulit.
Around 100 families have been directly affected and left with damaged houses and boats in this portion of Sitio Sabang. They complain about the lack of aid coming into their community. Aside from relief goods, they also appeal for materials to repair their boats and save their livelihood.
1990 po ako ditong dumating ng Sabang. So ngayon ko lang po naramdaman yung hinagpis ng kalikasan sa amin ng Sitio Sabang. Marami po talaga. Hindi lang po marami, kundi total po talaga kami ditong naapektuhan.
Zero talaga, sir, as in zero. Kasi hindi makapaghanap buhay. Ang kailangan namin, maitayo na namin ang aming mga bahay. Mabigyan sana kami ng pangbiling yero.
Luscious trees in nearby mountains, which also used to be a tourist attraction, were all uprooted by the storm. Residents from Sitio Sabang also tell CNN Philippines that they used to earn at least 1,000 pesos on a daily basis from tourism activities. Then they shifted to full-time fishing when the COVID-19 crisis happened. But after Typhoon Odette and with all their boats gone, now they're at a loss on how they can rebuild from this terrible tragedy. Back to you, Pia.
Tristan, what are the local government's plans to help them rebuild their homes?
Pio, what we know so far is that the provincial government is now distributing at least 5,000 pesos cash assistance to residents affected by Typhoon Odette, but this has yet to reach the residents of Sitio Sabang. That is why they are appealing for help to private individuals or private groups, especially those who have visited the underground river in the past. And speaking of the underground river, we have yet to receive any update from city officials or provincial officials on the damage or possible assessment of the underground river, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Back to you.
Tristan Nodalo there reporting from Puerto Princesa in Palawan. From one famous tourist spot to another, this time the surfing island of Siargao in Surigao del Norte, many business establishments once bustling with tourists now reduced to rubble. As Chrissy Di Matulak tells us, some believe it may take more than just a year before locals can get back on their feet.
When warned of a strong typhoon coming, some residents and business owners admit they did not heed the call. From their experience, residents say storms come and go in the island. But all of that changed when on the morning of December 16th, the winds only got stronger and trees were starting to kiss the sand.
At the beginning, we were not scared. We thought it's like normal typhoon because we've been living here for the last 5 years. We were in Boracay before that, and we thought it's like strong wind, like keep on raining.
The stretch of the once busy streets of General Luna town is now in rubble, as structures were no match with nature's might and force. According to business owners like Ron Manalo, the typhoon could not come at a worse time. It came just when the island's tourism is starting to bounce back from the pandemic.
Para siyang two-punch combination, ganon. Yung jab tsaka straight. So, si pandemic, it's been for a while now. And then, eto ngang si Odette. So, I think, mga a year or so, yun ang tsaka lang makakabalik ang Siargao.
Popular tourist destinations are in shambles. This used to be the Cloud9 Boardwalk, known worldwide as a surfing hotspot. Now it is left unrecognizable as it is left in ruins by the typhoon. The podium in Maasin where people would dive and take pictures was shredded to pieces. The surrounding trees have fallen. The famous coconut farm, which looked like a painting when standing from a hill, was left decimated. It will take time for these landmarks to recover, but people say team spirit in the island is so strong it will overcome any trial.
I'm very proud of everyone. I know this is a tough time and this was very unexpected. But seeing everyone, coming together and helping each other out, mapa-local man or the foreign locals who are here, nakakataba talaga siya ng puso seeing everyone, helping.
With the extent of the damage, it may take years to bring back the joy and vibe of this tropical paradise. People say this experience has taught them to take preventive evacuations more seriously, especially since nature's wrath is proven to be unpredictable. In Siargao Island, Chrissy Di Matulak, CNN Philippines.
In the aftermath of Typhoon Odette, President Duterte suggested the summary eviction of residents living near coastlines. He now clarifies resettlement sites have to be provided first. Interior Department suggests the creation of a task force for this government response. Amor Santos has the details.
Assessing the aftermath of Typhoon Odette, Interior Secretary Eduardo Año lamented that some residents were not supposed to be in harm's way, while President Duterte offered a rather contentious solution.
Yung pong batas dapat 40 meters eastment from the shoreline, wala po talagang dapat nakatira dyan. Lesson natin yan sa Yolanda.
Summary eviction.
A maritime law expert says it's not that simple. Under the Urban Development and Housing Act, local government units, in coordination with the National Housing Authority, shall provide relocation or resettlement sites for persons living in danger areas.
So if he's going to say summary eviction, he would better have something, a resettlement site ready for these people that he's going to be evicting.
In his talk to the people on Monday, President Duterte softened his tone and clarified there won't be any demolition without relocation. The DILG says it's a massive problem and suggests the creation of yet another interagency task force for a whole-of-government approach. Its first order of business determined the number of residents on coastal easements and which of them are priority. Batong Bakal says each LGU should use geohazard maps to identify vulnerable populations and safe resettlements. The Mines and Geosciences Bureau says its maps are up to date. According to one of its chief geologists, the maps were used in preparing for Typhoon Odette. Still, an early warning system does not guarantee zero casualties.
So if we can remove people from harm's way and provide them a better place to stay until they have their livelihood, why not?
The DILG admits this problem can't be solved with little time left under the Duterte administration. Batong Bakal says it should be on top of agenda of the next president.
We've known for years that we will be experiencing more extreme weather events. So there's no excuse to be still unprepared.
Amor Santos, CNN Philippines.
We're taking a quick break. When we return, the controversial Dolomite Beach of Manila Bay reopens to the public after months of closure. And some people looking to welcome the upcoming New Year with a bang decry the rising prices of fireworks. Details next here on CNN Philippines. Stay tuned.
RPN Radio Philippines Network DXKD Dipolo Radyo Ronda.
Ringo Honasan po. Sa pagbangon ng mga Pilipino, saludo ako sa mga taong patuloy na humaharap sa hamon ng pagbabago.
Bilang isang ina, handa akong gawin ang lahat para sa kaligtasan ng aking mga anak.
Pandemya man, tuloy pa rin ang serbisyo para malinis ang kapaligiran. Serbisyong publiko para sa kaligtasan ng lahat.
Sa panahon ng krisis, ikaw, ako, magtulungan tayo. Ringo Honasan po. Saludo ako sa Pilipino.
Merry Christmas ang bati, lahat tayo ay magdiwang.
Ang Pasko may panahon sa pagmaya o paghatag og kalipay sa atong mga mahal sa kinabuhi o sa atong isig katao. Kini ang inyong alagad sa Dakbayan sa Dapitan, si Bimbim Amoy ng Hinaot, nga unta luyo ning atong kahimtang karon, nga unta anaa kita sa luwas sa atong panglawas aron sa mabulukong pagsaulog sa pagkatao ning atong manunubos nga si Jesus. Maayong Pasko ug masanagong bagong tuig kaninyong tanan. Daghang salamat.
Oras ay nag-aawitan, Merry Christmas, masayang tunay.
Quincentenary Faith Rewind.
The image of Santo Niño was among the gifts presented to Queen Juana, wife of Raha Humabon before her baptism. The cross and the image of the Blessed Mother were the other gifts given to her according to Antonio Pigafetta.
KBP marks 500 years of Christianity and this station. DXKD Dipolo Radyo Ronda.
Akong gawin ang lahat para sa kaligtasan ng aking mga anak.
Pandemya man, tuloy pa rin ang serbisyo para malinis ang kapaligiran. Serbisyong publiko para sa kaligtasan ng lahat.
Sa panahon ng krisis, ikaw, ako, magtulungan tayo. Saludo ako sa Pilipinas.
You'd be surprised that even plants in your own backyard could add some oomph to your cocktail. I have here some fresh rosemary to give a spin on our classic Negroni, or as we'll call it, home garden mix. For this cocktail, you'll need, and for the tools, I'll cut a piece of my rosemary, then I'm going to torch it. and trap it into my glass. Set it aside to let it smoke while we mix our drink. Get your mixing glass and combine all of your ingredients. Then we add our ice, and then we'll stir for about 30 seconds. Now we're going to grab our glass and add fresh ice. Strain and pour your cocktail. Garnish this with a fresh sprig of rosemary. And there we have our home garden mix made with GSM Premium Gin.
Amid the darkness, look on the bright side. Olympic gold medalist Heidelin Diaz is not only great at lifting weights, she also leads everyone in getting into the Christmas spirit of gift giving. Hundreds of families in the communities of St. Joseph Chapel Community in Batasan, Quezon City, and Pagray Kogyo Urban Poor Community in Antipolo City received Pure Foods Noche Buena gift packs. All thanks to Heidelin and Pure Foods Golden Hearts.
Ngayon, medyo mahirap ang sitwasyon ng Pilipinas at kailangan tayo magkaisa sa pagbibigay ng Noche Buena. Sana po nagustuhan niyo po ang munting regalo namin ng Pure Foods. Para sa Pure Foods family, thank you so much po for doing this initiative. Nagbibigay po ito ng source of happiness and inspiration and hope sa bawat Pilipino.
This is just one of the ways Heidelin gives back this Christmas season. She believes that everyone deserves to celebrate with their loved ones over the delicious meals and treats we grew up sharing together.
Nagpapasalamat po kami kasi po kami po yung napili nyo na magbigyan po ng tulong. Simula pa noon, ngayon lang ako nakatanggap ng ganito karami. Kaya maraming salamat po.
Hindi namin naasahan ito, kaya nagpapasalamat sa mga sponsor na nagbigay sa amin. Dahil na sa inyo, Miss Heidelin. Masaya rin ako dahil para sa mga anak ko, natutuwa sila.
Christmas is definitely brighter this year dahil buo ang Pasko sa Paskong Pure Foods. I'm Sam Zadwani, CNN Philippines.
Welcome back to CNN Philippines. Yet another attraction in the city of Manila. The Dolomite Beach in Manila Bay reopens today, but you need to register online before you can take a stroll on the artificial white sand beach. Our Stanley Gaheta shows us the way.
The weather is fine and the sea breezes perfectly over Manila Bay. This is how people describe the ambience after experiencing the Dolomite Beach as it reopens after months of closure. Last October, a crowd of more than 100,000 visited the controversial Dolomite Beach. That's why the management decided to temporarily close the area. While they said earlier it would reopen to the public next year, they decided to reopen this holiday season.
Specifically, we want public to enjoy the holiday season, and nagkataon na itong ideal time, 28 up to 29. We considered everything, especially yung mga protocols natin and as far as pandemic is concerned.
Days before the New Year, the Dolomite Beach here in Manila Bay reopens, but compared to previous months, the number of visitors coming in the beach is now controlled. Despite the threat of the new Omicron variant of COVID-19, people still want to visit this 140-meter-long beach. Visitors love sightseeing and taking of pictures with their loved ones here. Most of them will return to work by early January.
Narinig lang namin yung sa kasama ay yung sa katabi ng bayan na nagja-jogging, naka-open daw ngayon. Yun, tumakbo kagad kami. Iba talaga yung mga kakapasok ka, di ba? Medyo ma-enjoy mo talaga ang sarili mo.
This visitor from Tarlac decided to see the beach first before meeting her friend.
Noon pa, may mga nagpupunta ng tao dito, sabi ko sa mister ko, minsan pasyalan natin.
There are available portalets in the area with enough authorities to monitor that visitors follow minimum health protocols and physical distancing. The management also prohibits littering, bringing of pets, and even swimming.
Be very safe in maintaining yung security at kasi of course yung kapakanan ng ating mga kababayan.
The beach is open for vaccinated ones aged 12 years old and up. It only accepts 200 walk-in visitors and 100 registered online visitors per batch, which lasts for 1 hour. The link and QR code for online appointment system are posted on DENR's Facebook page. It is open for public from 6:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. until tomorrow and will resume on January 4, 2022. Stanley Gaete, CNN Philippines.
The husband of the country's fourth Omicron case tests positive for COVID-19. The health department says the man is a 37-year-old Filipino who arrived from the U.S. with his wife on December 10th on a Philippine Airlines flight. He He is in isolation and his sample will undergo genome sequencing. The DOH is determining the people whom the couple came into contact with on the flight. State insurer PhilHealth calls on private hospitals to reconsider their plan to conduct what they call a PhilHealth holiday. The Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines earlier urged its members to temporarily stop accepting PhilHealth claims between January 1st to 5th of next year. The group says the move is to show support for hospitals that have decided to cut ties with PhilHealth over unpaid claims. But PhilHealth says it is people who will suffer the consequences. The state health insurer adds hospitals that are supposedly planning to disengage have not submitted official documents. The insurer also maintains it is working to fast-track its settlement of claims. Stated straight ahead on Newsnight, Filipinos heading to Bocaue, Bulacan, known as the fireworks capital of the country ahead of the new year, but buyers are disappointed with the increase in prices. More after the break.
Radio Philippines Network, DXKD, Dipolo, Radio Ronda.
Quincentenary Faith Rewind.
Ferdinand Magellan died in the hands of Dato Lapu-Lapu in the Battle of Mactan. Spanish navigator Juan Sebastian Elcano took command of the voyage, which finally reached the Spice Islands. To date, the expedition is also known as Magellan-Elcano Expedition.
KBP marks 500 years of Christianity and this station.
Honorable Angel Halusos Carion, Batanon, Buutan ug Malagaron, City Councilor of the Pitan City, Chairman, Committee on Tourism, Committee on Labor, Committee on Child Welfare and Development. Honorable Angel Halusos Carion, Batanon, Buutan ug Malagaron, City Councilor of the Pitan City.
Kalandraka tulumanon nga kurbahinam sa mga suking tigpaminaw, mga tigmo nga nagtangag sa premiong makalingaw. Kalandrakas musabwag usab sa mga impormasyon nga may kalambigitan sa kalambuan o kayuhan sa katawhan. Kalandrakas mualagad kaninyo. Kalandrakas.
Mga higalan namong suking tigpaminaw, maayong adlaw kaninyong tanan. Ang DXKD EM Station RPN Management Dipolog City magpahigayon og libreng panag-inambitay sa pulong sa Ginoo. Dialogo sa kamaturan. Among giawag tanang magawali sa naglain-laing relihiyon sa pagtambong ning maong programa. Dialogo sa kamaturan. Aron mapabati sa tanang katawhan ang inyong matag baruganan, sumala sa kamaturan alang sa hingpit nga kaluwasan o kinabuhing walay katapusan. Dialogo sa kamaturan.
Ang dialogo sa kamaturan ninyong mabati matag alas 3 ngadto sa alas 5 sa hapon adlong Domingo.
DXKD Dipolo Radio Ronda.
Alay ng frontliners ang kanilang buhay para sa kapakanan ng sambayan ng Pilipino.
Ang ating mga frontliners, ang mga bagong bayani ng bayan.
Mula sa amin, para sa mga mahal nating frontliners, maligayang Pasko at manigong bagong taon! Frontliners, kayo ang bida!
Now, the hallmark of a birria taco is the delicious slow-cooked meat filling, and it usually has a side of a savory broth to dip the signature fried tacos in. Sounds delicious, right, Chef?
That's right. And usually, to achieve that wonderful and tasty meat, it would take about 4 to 6 hours to slow cook. However, today, we are going to show you a life hack so you can easily enjoy these birria tacos at home in under an hour. Using, of course, our Pure Foods corned beef.
You guys are gonna love this, and you can even make this a fun family activity for the weekend, and Chef here will show you exactly how it's done. Let's go, Chef.
All right, so here are the ingredients. Now let's prepare first the filling and its sauce. Heat oil in a pan
And then saute garlic and onions until onions are tender. Add tomato paste and continue to saute. Add the corned beef and spices and continue sauteing for about a minute. Add crushed tomatoes, water, and simmer for 10 minutes over low heat, stirring occasionally. Add soy sauce and sugar. Then lastly, add the cilantro. Now strain to separate the corned beef filling from the dipping sauce. To make the tacos, mix all the ingredients until smooth and knead for about 15 minutes. Divide the dough into 15 small balls and rest this for about 30 minutes. Now roll out each ball into 6-inch diameter pieces. Meanwhile, heat the pan on high and then cook each taco for about 30 seconds on each side. Now to assemble, place every 2 tablespoons of corned beef filling on each taco and then garnish with extra cilantro. Now serve this with its sauce and lime wedges.
And now for my favorite part, the taste test. Okay, I want to try this. So how do I do this, chef? Gotta get the sauce.
Yes.
Gotta get all the sauce.
Lots of the sauce.
They're so good.
I'm glad you like
My
it.
kids and hubby will definitely enjoy this wonderful birria. Oh my God, it's like the real thing.
Alam mo naman, ang Pure Foods corned beef takes care of the pure sarap families are craving for.
I agree with you there, and this recipe is so enjoyable to make, and you end up with such a yummy dish. So mommies, you should all try this at home. So right now, stock up on your supply run, stock on Pure Foods corned beef, which is available in all leading supermarkets, and you can even add to cart Pure Foods corned beef on your favorite e-commerce sites, Lazada and Shopee, or buy online at the SMC Hub.
Welcome back. We are now counting down to 2022, and this early, revelers are starting to ring in the new year with a bang, literally. More people traveling to Bocaue in Bulacan to stock up on fireworks. As our Resident Media reports, prices are already going up.
Bobby Yulo came all the way from Makati City, braving Bocaue, Bulacan's heavy traffic, just to buy some fireworks for his family's New Year celebration.
Tradisyon na yung pagka medyo kahit papano may pailaw ka sa salubong ng New Year.
He noticed, however, he's now getting less from his money's worth compared to previous years.
Dating 10,000, marami nang nabibili. Ngayon, 14,000 na yan lang.
Retailer Elvira Navarro explains they're also getting less supply at higher prices from manufacturers. She says raw materials from abroad are not enough. They have no choice but to also jack up their prices.
Dapat may tubo ka kahit papano. Kasi siyempre may inupahan ka, may tao ka.
Elvira says they're missing the opportunity now that more people are buying fireworks after last year's muted revelry.
Lungkot nung nakarang year. Ngayon,
medyo okay na. Konti malaya na.
Authorities, meanwhile, are seeing another challenge, the presence of uncertified fireworks. During their inspection in Bocaue, 6 stalls were caught selling uncertified fireworks products. They sealed and confiscated the items. The retailers and manufacturers also have to explain to the DTI.
It could be that it was manufactured by a manufacturer that does not have a license. Or, even if the manufacturer has a license, that product which we have confiscated, sealed and confiscated, is not included in the license.
If you're buying some fireworks, make sure there's a PS mark or the Philippine Standard Quality and Safety mark. This is important to make sure the product you're getting is safe and legal.
Trade Department officials also monitor groceries to check prices of medianoche items. She says pasta, mayonnaise, cheese, among others, are still within their suggested retail prices. They notice, however, that there's almost no supply of ham and queso de bola in the supermarket in Caloocan City. Officials say this might mean retailers are not expecting this much demand from consumers, a sign that more people want to move on from the pandemic and celebrate the coming year. Rex Remitio, CNN Philippines.
And before we go, the Cape Crusader is back in this new trailer for The Batman starring Robert Pattinson. Fans of Catwoman bound to get excited too. The new teaser highlights Batman's relationship with Selina Kyle, played by Zoe Kravitz. We also catch a glimpse of the Riddler and his cryptic messages. Take a look.
It can be cruel, poetic, or blind, but when it's denied, it's through violence you may find
justice. The answer's justice.
Come on, vengeance. Let's get into some trouble.
The Batman set to arrive in local theaters March 2022. We have 3 more days before 2022 or before 2021 ends, and that is it for now. Join me again on News.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pia Altiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
Radio Philippines Network, DXKD, Dipolo, Radyo Ronda.
Loren Legarda po. 18 years akong senador at nagsulong ng mga batas na nakakatulong sa mga nangangailangan. Free college education law. Para sa aming edukasyon. MSME law. Batas para sa aming kabuhayan. Climate Change Act. Mga batas para sa kalikasan at climate change. Mga batas na ginawa ko na napapakinabangan ngayon. Sana makatulong pa ako sa mas marami. Loren Legarda.
This is a paid advertisement.
Quincentenary Faith Rewind.
The image of Santo Niño may have come from Michelin Flanders, now part of Belgium. There are surviving images that resemble the one in Cebu from 16th century Flanders. King Charles I of Spain grew in Flanders and must have obtained and given images of the Santo Niño for the expedition.
KBP marks 500 years of Christianity and this station.
Dapitan City Councilor Jezebel Bing Balisado, konsehal sa Dakbayan sa Dapitan nga dali duulon og maabibihon sa iyang mga katawhan. Konsehal Bing Balisado maluluyon og matinabangon sa tanang higayon. Konsehal Bing Balisado sa Dakbayan sa Dapitan.
Mas pinalawak, mas pinalakas. RPN sa iba't ibang mga lalawigan. DZRL Bataan, DZBS Baguio, DZKI Iriga, DYKB Bacolod, DYKC Cebu, DXKS Surigao, DXKD Dipolo, DXKO Cagayan de Oro, DXKT Davao, DXKP Pagadian, DXXX Zamboanga, DXDX General Santos.
RPN Radio Philippines Network, DXKD, Dipolo, Radyo Ronda. Member, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
He once served as councilor of the City of Manila and led the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission. He ran for senator in 2013 and 2016 but lost. Now, Greco Belgica is having a third shot at it. Joining us live for an up-close conversation, senatorial aspirant Greco Belgica. Greco, thank you so much for joining us. Your father was the PDDS party's original presidential candidate, substituted by Senator Bongo, and now has withdrawn from the race. Are you disappointed that Senator Go is no longer running for president?
Well, the announcement, of course, surprised us. It was not part of, although we were expecting something, a decision, we were expecting it to be to turn the other way around. However, things happen as it is, and we as a party are set to sit down, talk about it, together with our principals, our leaders, President Duterte and Senator Bongo, to determine the next steps for our party. Dahil, Senator Bongo, saying that he will be withdrawing, will affect, of course, the campaign. So we have to, we have to determine our next steps.
So what is the next step? Who will the PDDS now support and endorse for president?
Yeah, that's exactly the main agenda of the meeting. So I rushed back to Manila. I was at the north organizing our party. But then because of these things that happened, we have to come back and sit down and seek audience and meeting with President Duterte and Senator Bongo, anytime soon. So, yeah, so the party has to...
Greco?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, the party has to talk about it as a party.
Okay. So, will PDDS endorse the candidate that President Duterte and Senator Bongo will endorse, or could PDDS go its own route? Could endorse another candidate?
No, definitely not. The PDDS is the President and Senator Bongo's party. It was organized to pursue the aspirations of the President, even after his term has end. So, of course, yung sasabihin niya po ay maging importante sa tatahakin ng PDDS, who is still supporting and is still giving his 100% support to the President and Senator Bongo.
All right, Greco, let's take a look at your mandate in government over the past few years as former Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission Chair. How many government officials have been relieved of their duties and cases filed against them due to corruption?
Cases have been filed. 154 cases has been filed against high-ranking government officials. Over 1,000 cases has been investigated, and 13,000 reports and complaints has been acted upon by the PACC. The PACC has only jurisdiction over presidential appointees when reports against corruption extends up to the barangay and elected officials. So that made it very, very difficult for us to act on most cases, especially those that did not belong to our jurisdiction. We had to endorse this and seek support from other agencies, and these are one of the major reforms that we would like to bring into the Senate, is to expand jurisdiction, give more power, propose anti-corruption police force that will strengthen the anti-corruption campaign of the President or of the country. The PACC has only very limited power because its power only stemmed from the powers of the President.
Right.
So, but just the same, all this work and the anti-corruption campaign that was led by the President, implemented by the PACC, produced fear in the hearts of all government officials, whether it is appointed or elected within our jurisdiction or not, to get into corruption. There is still corruption, don't get me wrong. However, it is not as bad as it was before. Kung baga ko ngayon, tagong-tago.
But of course, the President is the most powerful person in the country. So you also have extra powers to basically put people behind bars, Greco. And when we posted on social media that you were our guest, there were comments that you were just a small fry catcher, and the PACC's initiatives are just lip service, all just talk and no action. What do you have to say to this?
Well, those are not true. Dahil records will bear for us. Ang mga inibisigahan po namin are not small fry. They were secretaries, undersecretaries, assistant secretaries. Those people that the President would read would mostly be PACC results. Hindi namin kayang magpakulong dahil hindi po kami korte. We are authorized to recommend to the President and endorse or file cases with the Ombudsman after we have investigated the case. Yun po ang pinakamalaking problema dito sa justice system natin. Pagkatapos namin imbestigahan, ipapasa namin sa Ombudsman para imbestigahan ulit yung imbestigahan na namin. Tapos ipapasa na naman nila sa Sandigan para imbestigahan ulit yung imbestigahan namin dalawa. Dapat po ang mga opisina kagaya namin ay magkaroon ng kapangyarihan, pakulong na yung mga naimbestigahan na po namin. At apat pong opisina namin ay magkaroon ng opisina sa lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno hanggang sa barangay at LGU, kagaya po ng inilatag namin nung I was PACC chairman, nalalagyan ko po ng anti-corruption committees ng lahat po ng offices sa gobyerno.
So Greco, how do you plan to change this if you become senator? Because you've recommended all of these corrupt officials, no? And you've passed it on to the ombudsman. But we haven't really seen any big fish behind bars. What will you do if you were senator to change this system?
You can do it through law, no po? Nakaset up na pong structure dyan, like the Office of the Ombudsman. So, through the Senate, then you can propose laws and strengthen offices like the PACC. We have jailed through entrapment, working together with the NBI and the Philippine National Police, 24 government officials. Po, if we had the power to jail everyone, then lahat po ni-imbestigahan namin, nakulong po yan. And you can ask po ang mga Bureau of Customs, BIR, BI, DPWH, ang dami-daming proyektong nagawa niyan, bill, which is, of course, a result of a serious and strong anti-corruption campaign. The BIR and the Bureau of Customs, marami pa rin pong corruption dyan. Pero it is only this term that they have continually hit their revenue targets every month for over a year because money or revenue is going straight to the to government coffers, no longer in the pockets of corrupt.
Because Greco, there are a lot of critics who are saying that yes, these corrupt officials are taken out from their positions, but they're reappointed or recycled to other positions.
Well, you know, there were officials na ganun po, pero hindi po lahat. Those officials that were reappointed, kasi po kami mga ano lang po kami, yung recommending lang po, recommendatory lang po ang PACC. So if our principal does not agree with our findings, yun lang po ang kapangyarihan namin. Pero ito pong mga opisyal na to na sinasabi nila nga na-reappoint, hindi po nawala ang kaso niyan sa amin at naisampa po namin sa Office of the Ombudsman yan. If we believe na, you know, sa amin may kaso sila, like, you know, Secretary Duque, Secretary La Peña, you know, sasabi lang nire-recycle. Pero as far as we were concerned, you know, we gave our report, we gave our recommendation, and then it was forwarded to the Ombudsman for, the case has been filed. And yun lang po, limit talaga ng kapangyarihan namin. We want to do more. Yun nga, sabi namin, nag-uusap kami ng Pangulo, sabi ko, boss, kulang talaga ang kapangyarihan. Kung if we just had the power to send these guys to jail, they'd be all in jail right now.
All right.
Sabi niya, yan ang sabihin mo at gawin mo sa Senado.
So, Greco, if you become senator, in your view, how should the government fight this war on drugs? Should it continue to adopt an ironclad, no-nonsense anti-drug policy?
Definitely, sir. That's the way to go. And in the proper implementation of RA 9164 or 9165 or the anti-drug abuse, you know, setting up the anti-drug abuse councils down to the barangay anti-drug abuse council and the anti-drug board of the local governments will strengthen the fight against corruption. I mean, against drugs. Dalawa po kasi yan, yung suppression, yung nakikita nating tukhang, at yung intervention po ito po yung organizing the communities to come together and fight corruption, conducting your anti-drug campaign and strengthening, empowering the families, the local governments, the barangay to monitor and operate anti-corruption, anti-drugs operations po, both suppressive and interventive.
But Greco, a lot of the people have been caught for drugs, whether users or sellers, suppliers, have been basically, you know, our kababayans in the marginalized part of society. If you are a senator, will you also push for the drug users and the drug suppliers who belong to the upper echelons of society?
Lahat po, sir. The law does not distinguish between rich and poor, male and female. Pag sinabi po kasi nila mas marami nahuhuli for drugs na maliliit, ganun din po ang corruption Bakit mas marami nadadampot at nahuhuling maliit? Because we do not we do not distinguish between high ranking or low ranking. If you get into corruption, then we catch you. Get into drugs, then we catch you. The thing is, mas marami po talaga mga kababayan natin ang physically na mahihirap, physically umahawak ng droga at nagtatransact rather than the big bosses and the thugs that transact drugs or get into corruption without actually holding money.
So what will you do, Greco, to find out if these rich people are holding the drugs? Because like what you said, ang nakikita lang ng pulis, ang humahawak ng droga are our poor kababayans. How will you try to find out that the rich are also holding drugs or are using drugs?
We have to cure the law, These rich people use money to transact drugs and also to corrupt. And our laws and the equipments of the Philippine National Police, offices like us, does not have the power and the authority and the equipments, to follow the money. That's what I'm saying. You want to know who's into drugs? You follow the money, but then restricted po ang ating batas. So we have to cure that law for people and for people who gets involved in drugs, who gets involved in corruption. That law should not apply to them. Ito pong yung mga bank secrecy laws should not apply to them because they're a threat to national security. They're criminals.
And of people use drugs because they don't have jobs, Greco. And right now, more than 4.5 million of our kababayans do not have jobs, have lost their jobs because of the pandemic. And how will you try to jumpstart the economy and create jobs through legislation if you become senator?
Thank you, sir. We really need to address job creation and development and bring up the economy. There are many ways. We have to cure economic and trade policies. We have to strengthen the fight against corruption and red tape because when red tape and corruption goes down, business and development goes up, projects goes up, more services go up, more businesses come in. Number two, when I was in Berkeley I was studying in Berkeley, the Venture Capital Fund was a very famous system in the United States that put in money for businesses to invest in entrepreneurship, to invest in medium and medium businesses. We can bring that here if we can simplify and consolidate and digitize, properly implement the ARTA law, strengthen the ARTA law, strengthen the anti-corruption fight. These businesses and these funds will be available para po bumalik ang negosyo, bumalik ang trabaho ng tao. And thirdly, we have to work on our taxes. I've been talking about this from 2013. The 10% flat tax will lower down tax rate and simplify it, bring more revenue for people and more revenue for government. So these are some of the economic and trade policies that I wish, if God allows, took me to bring to the Senate.
All right, Greco, we will have to take the short break and we will continue this up-close conversation with you. And also up ahead, an explosion at Mount Pinatubo. We'll have the details next. And President Duterte commemorates Bonifacio Day for the second and last time in his 6-year term. Keep it right here on CNN Philippines. News you can use, news you can trust.
RPN Radio Philippines Network DXKD Dipolo Radio Ronda
DXKD Ronda Balita. Mga balitang may kamatuuran, way gidapigan o hilisgutanan sa katawhan. DXKD Ronda Balita. Mga labas na mga balita gikan sa sinaligang mga tinugdagan. Balitang hinimo sa lawak balitaanan. Diin inyong madungog ang mga balitang lokal, regional, national o international o uban pang may kalabutan sa atong kadaliligban. Gihatod ninyo live gikan sa RPN DXKD Radio Ronda Broadcast Center. DXKD Ronda Balita. Inyong madungog matag adlong Lunes hangtod Biyernes alas 12 hangtod sa alas 2 sa kahaponon ug makita usab sa RPN DXKD Dipolog Facebook page, YouTube ug sa Twitter. DXKD Ronda Balita.
DXKD Dipolo Radio Ronda
This is the final word on CNN Philippines. I'm Rico Hizon. Still with us tonight for an up-close conversation, senatorial aspirant Greco Belhica. Greco, for this particular portion, you'll only have to answer me with a yes or a no. No explanations. Let's start off. Do you favor easier public access to the SALN of the President, Vice President, and members of Congress?
Yes.
Do you support lifting foreign ownership limits in the Constitution?
Yes.
Do you favor the reimposition of the death penalty for drug-related crimes?
Yes, for all heinous crimes, including corruption.
Do you favor resuming peace talks with the communist rebels?
Yes, for all Filipinos, yes.
Should a sitting president be allowed to run for the Senate?
Yes.
Should the country be more aggressive in protecting its maritime interests in the West Philippine Sea?
Yes.
And finally, Greco, your final word on why our kababayan should elect you to the Senate. You have 30 seconds.
Sa atin pong mga kababayan, una-una, vote wisely, know your candidates. Alamin niyo po ang kanilang nakaraan, alamin niyo po ang kanilang nagawa na, kanilang track record at kanilang pong plano. The future is in your hand. Ako po, I've been in government service for 20 years and I will bring a stronger anti-corruption campaign in the Senate and make sure na lahat ng iniimbestigahan natin ay napukulong at napaparusahan. At kung pagpapalain ng Diyos, ibabalik po natin ang parusang kamatayan sa dumal na krimen at korupsyon. Maraming salamat po.
Senatorial aspirant Greco Belhica, thank you so much for joining us on Up Close.